Welcome to Nice and a special episode of the IRONMAN Insider presented by Morton. I'm Matt Lieto, and we are here in Nice, world's race. We've got women's only race this year. I've got Mirinda Carfrae with me. We're going to talk a little bit about the race and have special guests as they come along. We just had the pro press conference, and we're going to have the pro briefing here in a minute. And what are the nerves normally like? We're even kind of, a lot of stuff this is when it gets real.
Yeah, I think nerves start to really peak when you're doing the pro panel, because now you're having to see all of your competitors. You're having to answer questions in front of your competitors. This is really where things start to get really real.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see it in the athletes' faces. You know, pro briefing, it just keeps building until race day now.
I can read in between the lines. I think you're stoked you're here and not there.
I am. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I so love that I got to do that and for so many years, but it is nice not to feel, because honestly that these days right before the race, they feel awful. And those nerves, it's not fun. You can't eat your food. You feel out of sorts, like it's anxiety / nervousness. I'm glad to be on the side of the fence.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel you. There's like a part, at least my part, I think is smaller that wants to be here. Clearly not here.
No, I just want to be fit like everyone. If I could just be like in shape like all of those ladies, but then not have to go and do the thing, that would be the perfect sweet spot.
I was always intimidated when I was racing, let alone here afterwards. But yeah, so I think there's a bunch of random people around. I think we're going to see if we can get Scott DeRue, the CEO of IRONMAN. We're going to get him in a second. But
You wait on me?
Come on over. No, we're not waiting on you. We're waiting on you. How's it going, Scott?
Fabulous.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Great to see you as well.
I know we haven't had too much time to chat, but mostly just know I see you around, and I don't see a more happy, excited, more like actually into the race person around Nice than it seems like you are.
How could you not be excited? This is my first IRONMAN World Championship. The energy of the community, our athletes. You got all these athletes, 1,400 age groupers from around the world, 65 countries, all coming together for one common dream. And then our professional athletes, they're competitors. They're competing at the highest level. And I just couldn't be more excited about watching them on Sunday.
So first World Championship, first pro briefing at a World Championship. What do you think? Was there like some gamesmanship in there? What's the vibes?
Well, it's funny because, they don't want to give away their tactics, right? So they're holding a little bit close. But we pressed a bit. I think we got a little bit out of them.
Yeah.
But you can feel there's this good nervous energy, right?
Yeah.
But there's also just this joy of being here, right? And a lot of them talk about the journey to get here, and I think that's true. I think it's genuine, right? Is enjoy the process, not just the destination.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just was going to say, what is your overall just impression of the World Champ events? You've been to other races. Like, how is this different?
The level of competition,
Yes.
certainly elevates to another level, right? Because we're bringing together the very best of the best.
Yeah.
And so you can feel that. You can see it in the athletes, right?
Yeah.
But it's also about the experience. I mean, everything we're doing is putting the athlete first, really looking for creative ways to elevate their experience. And the IRONMAN World Championship really takes the athlete experience to another level. And so, with our team, we're asking the question of how do we make this the standard, right? How do we elevate that experience around the world in all of our events and races? And so for me, it's a great opportunity to get to experience this for the first time.
Yep.
To listen and talk with listen to our athletes, learn from them, but also get to see firsthand what is a world championship, right? What does that feel like? It's really exciting.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, again, I've seen you around, and you talk about the athlete experience, and from seeing you give a couple talks, like it's very clear that is truly what you're about, not just a talking point. And we so appreciate that you're driving the ship in that direction, and can't appreciate having you around more, and can't let you go without the high pressure question, which you don't have to answer. Who's going to win on Sunday? I would never put you on the spot. A well-deserved athlete?
Yeah.
A well-deserved athlete. There are a number of people. That's what's actually really inspiring about this, is there are so many of our athletes who have a legitimate chance to cross that finish line first. And this course is relatively new to many of them. And so I don't know that they know what to expect.
Yeah.
And if they don't know what to expect, we
Yeah.
certainly don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sweet. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. We'll let you get back to it. No, it's a busy day.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Busy week.
Thanks,
Always.
Matt.
Yep. Thank you.
There you go. I mean, honestly, like, couldn't have someone more excited about the sport. Yeah. What do you think of the vibe? And just, I know you've been around talking to some of the athletes. What's going on?
Yeah, the vibe is good. I mean, I think athletes have been kind of saying that it feels different to Kona. It's not as like a pressure cooker situation, because Kona, like, everywhere you look, everywhere you go, everyone knows the IRONMAN World Championships. You have your spots where you go and eat, like. And here it's all like, I don't know, like, this is a different course. I haven't done this course before. Like, a different swim situation. It's going to be, obviously the bike is a lot different, and then that flat run as well. So I think that maybe has taken a little bit of pressure off some athletes. But again, it's still a world championship. So I think as we get closer to race day, there's still going to be those same nerves that you have at any race you do.
So I think that you make a good point. I think the like anonymity that Nice presents, like talking to some of the athletes, are like, you could be at the host hotel, 200 meters from the swim start, and at 6 p.m., 2 days before the race, you could walk down and get dinner and not have to worry about anybody like stopping you or worried about like getting stressed out by the vibe.
Yeah.
You're just in Nice, like it feels like you're just on vacation.
Yeah, totally. And lots of people are like, wait, what do you do? Like, it's not like just a foregone conclusion that everyone here is racing. So yeah, that's awesome. We got another special guest rolling into the studio.
What's going on,
Maja
Maja?
Stage Nielsen.
Nice to see you.
Great to see you.
How was the pro press conference?
It was cool.
Yeah?
It's kind of nice to sit next to all those girls. Yeah, we had a nice time.
A nice time. I've been a part of a number of those pro panels, and it always kind of feels stressful, right? Like it's nice because you're here and you've done the work, but still like the nerves are high, right?
Yeah, and you suddenly realize, okay, now we are really here.
Yes, we really have to race.
Now.
Yeah.
And you've been thinking, this is so long, and but now it's now.
Yeah. And I always sort of, in the last few days, I'm like, I wish it was almost like you wish you had more time, but you also want to get it over with.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like now you feel like, okay, but you can't really do much anymore, so now you just want the time to go fast.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, but that means it's really happening
Yes,
as well. So
totally.
maybe, yeah.
That's
Did it
amazing.
both.
Yeah, and so what was it like, you said being up there with the rest of the ladies, but in third place in the Pro Series, not only a world championship, but we know this is going to have a huge effect on that. What does it feel like being in podium position going into the biggest points race of the year?
Well, I think the Pro Series is like a super cool invention, and it just brings like an extra notch to this. And it's nice that it's like a ranking throughout the year, and it's just not like one chance you have, but you can actually like build your way into it.
Awesome.
So does that mean it takes a little bit of pressure off this one event?
Yeah, in some way I think it does, but at the same time it also makes you like you have to perform multiple times, and every time you're like this was one, now on to the next one.
Yeah.
And then it's like it will pay off for consistent athletes, and I think that's a nice extra touch.
For sure, yeah.
That's awesome. So in Nice, we were talking about how it's a little different. It's very chill. You can maybe like think.
It is.
Yeah, it is, right? So like, what's your favorite thing about Nice? Is there a restaurant you go to every day? Is there a coffee shop you like to go to? What's like what makes you chill in Nice?
Well, I kind of like that you have this like you can go up to the mountains and you feel in a completely different world.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you come back down here and you have like this vibe of kind of big city but still chilled. And I think this is like the special like these vibes really.
Yeah. And the other thing to consider as well, as a European, it's kind of a local race for you. You can have more people come out and support. Easy time zone shift.
Yeah, that's a very nice thing. And also, like, I was here in July, so you can kind of just go here for a week and feel like you get to know the course better, and you don't have to like plan so much like time in advance that okay, I'm just gonna pop over, and that's very nice.
For sure.
That's amazing. Well, we know you've got a lot going on. You got the pro briefing here in a minute, so we'll let you go. But thank you so much, and good luck on Sunday.
Yeah, best of luck.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, she's a dark horse coming into this race for sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, third in the series, maybe not super dark, but not someone that everyone's talking about. You know, like we have our top couple. I see someone else we want to see here.
Definitely not a dark horse.
Definitely not a dark horse.
She's wearing dark clothes. Oh, come on.
I'm 100% dark horse. Are you kidding?
Okay, self-proclaimed dark horse.
The darkest horse.
I love it. I love it. Why do you feel like you're a dark horse? And is it like you want to be a dark horse kind of, right?
Yeah.
No pressure?
I prefer to be a dark horse.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay, no pressure. We're not even talking about you. Who are you?
Yeah,
What's your name?
introduce yourself to the camera,
Please.
please.
Jackie Herring, 39-year-old mom of two, reporting for duty.
Yes.
There you go. And I've, joking around with Chelsea earlier this week, like, okay, I won't talk about the kids anymore. But I got to bring it up because obviously a lot of us noticed you didn't race Ironman for 9 years. Why did she not race Ironman for 9 years? You got a 6 and an 8-year-old. How is it being back in the Ironman scene, and how is it harder or less hard to balance being a mom and Ironman training than you thought it was going to be?
Than I thought it was going to be. It is fine now that they're this age, and that's why I waited this long, because, I think kind of like you've experienced, Rennie, it's really hard to leave them for too long when they're little.
Yeah.
When they're real little, I think for most people, or for me, I guess I can only speak for, I just had the feelings like I just wanted to be home, and even when I was training for half Ironman and racing, it was hard to be gone for those 3-hour rides. I would just cut them all to 2 and just say, that's good enough.
That'll
I'm just
do.
doing it.
You can't do that with Ironman training.
No. So it's working now. They're older. They don't need me there as much. And I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
So how impressed are you? I know I'm pretty impressed. I've told her this already. Like 9 years off and first race back, knocked out of the park. 252 U.S. Ironman record. No big deal, right?
No big deal.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about
It's
it?
another day. Another
Impressive,
day for a dark horse.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. No, I mean, incredible racing in Hamburg earlier this year, and you really showed that, hey, I'm here and I mean business, and we've been enjoying watching your progress throughout the year, and hope for another big performance on Sunday.
And leading the Pro Series going in. How is the Pro Series like? That seems like it's been a motivator. Has it been fun to like keep track and focus on it?
Yeah, Pro Series is top of mind, and that does, even though it may not seem like it would, it does relieve pressure for any type of placement necessarily in this race, because all I have to focus on is just doing my best Ironman day and just going as fast as I can, regardless of where the other people are. So.
Yeah, that's an interesting shift in mentality, right? Because it's always been the World Championships. If you don't finish first or second or third, then it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
And it matters now with the Pro Series.
Yeah, and it matters. And from, even like a money standpoint, you used to have to finish 10th or 15th place to even, or maybe 10th to pay for your trip.
Yeah.
And it also relieves that pressure. Like where, if you don't get in that top 10, but you're doing well in the series, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's still going to work out.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of peace for me in that.
Yeah. Very zen, Jackie.
The kids are here now. It's like less zen.
A little less zen.
week.
That's amazing. Well, we know you're busy. We'll let you do some namaste in between now and the press or the race briefing. But go get him. Good luck on Sunday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sure. Give it to him. It's our grip back there, making things happen.
Yeah.
But athletes do love the dark horse moniker, right?
Yeah.
You want to be the dark horse.
You want to be the dark horse because no one's talking about you. It's less pressure externally on you. Everyone has their own goals. And so you still have that, but it's nice to surprise people. I think that's the big thing.
Ooh, surprise!
Surprise! Hi.
How are you going?
Good, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Thank you.
Good.
So Jackie Herring, she kind of grasped onto she gets to be the dark horse. Do you want to be the dark horse?
For the race or
Yeah.
today?
I don't know.
For any
race, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if you want to keep it dark, that's fine.
No, you've had a great season this year. Obviously, some ups and downs, but
Yeah.
talking about World Championship, but also Pro Series, I think people are underestimating. You got 2 scores, and 3 races to go.
Yeah, Texas was really surprised, to be honest, because I know the field was so big, and besides Kona, of course, the field was really big as well, but Texas as well. So I was really stoked with my performance there, and Cairns was like kind of a home race for me. So it was really nice to be there with the Ironman crew because I know them for the last 3 years. So that was just like a kind of like a party just to race there and be with the Ironman family. And Lake Placid, a little bit bad luck, or I made really radical decisions. My chain came off. My swim start was not really great, so I think frustrations were building up in this race, and then I was like, I need to make up time really quickly on the bike when my chain came off while I still had like 90 Ks.
Right.
So I really overrode myself there. Yeah.
And
Rest is history.
And so speaking of the Pro Series, for you in this race, are you more focused on your overall finish time and like what that means for the Pro Series, or are you just trying to get as high up as possible at the World Champs?
I would love to come as high as possible in the World Championship, but on the other side, you keep an eye on maybe 5-6 other women who are also like quite high in the ranking. And I think it's really special that this the first year of the Ironman series, and then ranked as high as possible at the end of the year. That would be that would be cool.
What's your next rate? Like, what's the plan for the rest of the year to fill out those scores?
So we go to Boston, and we go to Lake Taupo. I was supposed to race Salem Sea. Only I got really sick before we went on the plane. And my sinus were so fucked up. I couldn't fix it before the race, so it was a good decision not to race. Yeah. A little bit more pressure for the 70-point race that I have to be sure I at least finish them.
Yeah, for sure.
So whatever happened in Sunday and Boston and Lake Taupo, I need to finish the races if I still want to get the scores.
Sure.
So what are you most excited about this race and this course on Sunday?
I'm excited really about the bike course. 2 weeks ago when we arrived here, I was a little bit scared because I was like, I'm going to lose so much time on the descents because I know I'm a powerful athlete. I know I can push the bike. Only the descent was like, I was really happy that we had like 2 weeks to practice really well. So we went to the big descents. I think I've been there 12 times to go down. Just to get the confidence. And to be honest, it really helped because yesterday when we went down, I was even enjoying it. So I think that's a better, looking forward than you have this unknown. So I always loved to, when I was in ITU as well, I really loved to see the bike course, but I think for this bike course, it's really, I think it's just the most spectacular part of the race. It's going to be the bike. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to the swim because that's, my strength as well, and then I just have to see how my legs are going to be responsible for the run.
So speaking of the swim, you're going to hang with the mermaid herself, Lucy Charles Barclay?
Yeah, we see, hopefully. It's always a goal, but I know she's also like super class swimmer, and it really depends how it pans out on the start of the swim, if we can catch each other or not. And it's always like an excitement, and it's always for me another opportunity when she's in the race to see if I can. And if it doesn't happen, I'm still not really panicking. I know like it's not 9 hours, so
yeah, we just want to perform on all the three disciplines.
Well, it's a pretty high bar, so we don't blame you if you don't get on those feet. But we're looking forward to you on the descent, hanging it out there. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I think she is overlooked. People are talking about the podium and who's in the podium now. Like her and Hannah Berry only have 2 scores, and they're like 12th and like 14th place.
Totally, yeah. I mean, that's the big thing, right? Like performing throughout the year, having good scores all year long, and we're going to invite another exciting athlete. Hi,
What's going on?
Good to see you.
Ooh, hang loose. I want to see what's your shaka look like.
This is my shot.
That's it? That's actually your hand?
Oh, that's so cool.
I'm much looser. I do one of these. Like very chill. Very chill. It's like you broke your hand and you're just showing it. Yeah.
Relax. Too cool to like pump it up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. For sure.
You've been here for a bit, yeah?
We're just over 2 weeks. So we were over in Antilles. Just a little bit quieter and easier to access. So it was good.
And for now, how are the nerves this week as it compared to Kona? Just give me a little like this race compared to Kona. How's the feel going in?
It felt really relaxed and calm when I was out uptown. But now in these last few days, I don't know, it's just the city vibe, lots of people around, and just juggling timings and commitments, and and you see people, meet people. It's definitely got the energy that World Championship needs, and it's definitely got me buzzing now.
I love it. You can see there's a little more energy in your eyes than I saw with you on Monday.
I just arrived on Monday. I was like,
Everything's
just
cool.
another champ.
No big deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But we're getting close. What is it like as an athlete? Like, is there a peak of that pre-race nerves? Does it go away till the gun goes off, or like how's that look like for you?
Oh, it does. Through, I think, the 2 weeks leading up into, I don't know, you probably maybe similar, but 2 or 3 weeks leading up, I often have like a 2 weeks out panic, doubt everything.
Right. I've never done a triathlon before.
I've never done it. What the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
Have I done enough training? And then you suddenly realise that it's probably, you're in the last few days of training, you're overtired, and then you have that little bit of recovery and it all kind of eases off again. And then, these kind of commitments and seeing familiar faces really brings back the nerves and the energy, but it's exciting.
For sure. And Fenella, you've had a bit of a mixed bag of results this year, but you tend to perform well at the big races. And so what are we going to see from you on Sunday?
That's what I hope to see, a good race, because you're right, the beginning of the season definitely hasn't showed what I feel like I can do. Yeah. Saying that, I've led into T2 at all the Ironman races that I've done. It's just I haven't quite delivered on that last discipline. So hopefully I get out of all three and a good performance on Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you ever have to remind yourself, because I remember sitting down with you last year before, and it's like, you wouldn't have been in this building 3 years ago, right? And you just had breakthrough. Like, do you have to remind yourself, I know you have big goals, you wanted to win the Pro Series, but like that breakthrough you had a few Konas ago was like out of nowhere, right? Do you have to remind yourself that you're still on the way up?
I'm still learning, I'm still on that trajectory, and although I'm in the middle in terms of ages, I'm still quite new to Ironman.
Yeah.
We're all learning year on year with more races being involved in different series about how to juggle it and moving through the sport as a professional and as an athlete, trying to get the best out of it, and at the end of the day be a healthy, happy athlete, which I think is winning at the end of the day. But yeah, it's been that race. People still come up to me and say, "Oh, I remember when you were throwing shackers and leading Kona," and I'm like, "Yeah, so do I." It was like the best. Well, so it definitely was a moment that I'll remember forever, and it really solidified that I could be there at the front of the race and I deserve to be there. I just want more of that, so hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. And will we be seeing some shakas out there on race day?
Yeah, it's easier when you're going uphill, isn't it? So out
No shakas on the descent.
Not so much, but yeah.
That's
Climbing, make sure that video man throws.
Well, everybody so appreciates the energy you bring to every single race you do, and we wish you all the best for Sunday. We can't wait to cheer you along and follow you all day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. One more to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, the good vibes.
Good vibes.
Always coming from Fenella.
Yep, always coming from Fenella. We love that. We love that about her. No matter what, she's always giving some great energy. But we have probably like a legit dark horse here coming in now.
Come on in.
India Lee,
Hello.
good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes.
Dark
I'm
horse
great.
compliment or
Yeah.
burn?
Yeah. I mean, not really a dark horse. We're talking about it on the podcast because it's like,
Yeah, I mean, come on,
if
vibes.
we just weren't talking about it, that would be better.
Yeah.
There you go. That's fair. That's fair.
So sort of a dark horse, but enough to be someone that's on the radar.
Yeah.
And
We'll edit
you
this.
deserve-
We'll edit it out.
Well earned though.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. It's exciting to be spoken about, I guess, in the week leading into a World Championship because that's a cool position to be in. But, I don't know whether I've necessarily earned that over the IRONMAN distance yet, but I guess we'll find out the weekend.
Well, I mean, there's been a few people that came from 70.3 success, like World Championships, and then went to Ironman World Championships and won. Like, so
It
even though you
translates
don't,
well,
if you don't have the
typically.
experience,
Yeah.
you never know. Any advice as
Just keep doing what you're doing. India. Whatever it is, you've got the right formula. You just got to stretch it a little bit,
Yeah,
and then
Do it twice.
just as twice. It's fine. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
is having fun for you just you being genuine, or is it you being like trying to not get stressed out? Like it seems like you and Kat are just like flinging it all day long and having a great time.
Yeah, it's not an act. It's not for long. I've worked pretty hard to get to the position that I'm in, and so now I just want to enjoy being in this position rather than taking it far too seriously and then getting 3 years down the line thinking, oh, I wish I'd like taken stuff in and enjoyed the position I was in rather than just like kept my head down.
And on Sunday, what are you hoping will play out? Like, what does your perfect day look like?
A perfect day, I guess, would be to come out in one of the front swim packs, having swum pretty comfortably. I'm not interested in like gunning it on the swim for no reason. Like it's a 9-hour day. Like I don't need to do the first hour super hard. So a comfortable swim, and then I'm pretty keen to bike hard because I know that biking's a strength, especially riding uphill. So the first 3 hours of the bike is uphill. So yeah, I'd like to capitalise on that and then hopefully get onto the run in a position to be fighting for a podium. Yeah, that would be a perfect day.
Awesome.
Sweet. And maybe upset some of the favorites because that's what you have to do as a dark horse, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's your job. It's your mission.
upsetting some of the favourites is, it's always pretty fun to do as an episode. Yeah,
you go.
I'll give that a crack.
Well, we know she'll be cracking jokes and having fun on Sunday as well. Through a little bit of pain, but we'll let you go. We know we got the Pro Beef ring coming up here in just a second, so thanks so much for stopping in. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Good luck.
There's going to be like a brawl for the dark horse moniker
I know.
before race
Like,
day.
no, I'm the dark horse. No, I'm the dark horse. No, there's a lot of, I think that just speaks to the talent that's coming up in the sport, right? Like we have, the athletes like Annie Haag, like Lucy Charles Barkley, who have performed so many times at the top level. And then I think there's just so many women now coming up through the ranks who have the potential to win or go close to winning. And so that's where all of these dark horses are coming out. And it's an exciting time to be a professional athlete and for professional women.
Yeah, for sure. Exciting time to be on our side as well.
Oh, and yes, I feel like we have the best seat in the house. We get to enjoy watching these women up close and personal and getting the ins and outs of the race. And as big fans of triathlon, it's just the best.
Yep. Yeah, and so obviously that's awesome talking to some of the athletes, some pre-race favorites, series favorites. We've talked to some of the bigger names, and I want to hear what you have to say about the course and the bigger names in general. So what are your impressions of the course? People think it's one thing, and then they get out here and they talk to athletes and they realize maybe there's different challenges than we expected.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the temperature is the big thing for me.
Okay.
It's only going to be 70. So I think we're going to have really fast runs off the bike from these women. I think we're going to have multiple women going under 250, which is crazy. But that's the reality that we're in right now. The competition leads itself to that way, and just the progression of sport.
So what does that look like? Is knowing, obviously, you're one that had the fastest Ironman World Championship run time for a long time. You know, we've got Annie ran a 2:48 in that heat.
Yes.
We've got Aurora Phillip. That is, tactics will be different on the bike. Kat Matthews, she like let it slip in an interview, like, oh, low 240s. Like,
Yeah.
how much of a difference is that, especially on a lap course? Like, do you think sub 245 is a thing that's going to happen on Sunday?
I mean,
Bike's hard.
the bike's hard, yeah. So that's the question. Like, how much does that take out of the women's legs? And, you know, they're on the bike for longer than they typically are in an Ironman, so they're pushing for longer, but they do have that nice descent and flat to sort of ready themselves for the marathon. I think, it's the first time we've had a field like this on this course. Yes, Nice has been around for a long time, but to have the best in the world going head to head, it just brings the level up a massive notch. And so, yeah, I think it's possible that if Annie's on her game, she can run sub 245. Laura Phillip, possibly. Kat Matthews. Yeah. So I think there's a number of women in that space. And Lucy Charles-Barclay, I think, is a fantastic runner as well. She's honed that skill over so many years, and sub 245, probably not, but she doesn't need to if she has such a big lead off the bike.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, talking to Laura Phillip, you know, I've always, you know, commentating the first race she kind of broke through in Chattanooga years ago, World Champs, been like, man, she's one of the best up-down runners in the sport. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I prefer flat runs. Right. And I'm like, dude, like if she's had those run performances, and again, I think maybe it's a little different because she's used to chasing. Tell us a little bit about the dynamics of, like, we know Kona recipe is this. Here you're like, man.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think that's a big question too. But the fact that, like, in Kona, it's flat for the first 50. Well, it's not flat. It's very rolly, but it's quick, and usually have a tailwind going out of town. So not a lot of things can happen. This race, we got that hill, and 10 miles into the race, the athletes are on a legit hill, and they're on that hill for a long time.
And it starts so steep.
Yeah, and that's where I think we're just going to see big changes, like time gaps change. Like Laura Phillip chasing, she's going to be licking her lips, like, coming out of that water.
Els Visser?
Yeah, Els Visser as well. Yeah. Kat Matthews. Like, so many women are like, okay, perfect. This is my game. If I'm going to win a world title, I need to be able to do it here at Nice, because if I'm a chaser, if I'm a strong bike runner, this is the course.
And it's funny to me on the bike, obviously, like, we know that's a challenge on the climb, and it's a really short, steep climb to start, and then there's a little descent, and then that big long climb. But it's flat, kind of almost false flatty, headwindy. And then what people forget, and I even was talking with the athletes yesterday, I'm like, what about that climb on the descent? They're like, what climb on the descent?
Yeah.
Like, halfway you go through Rio Day, and it's like 20 minutes. I was late for a meeting last year, and I was up there, and so I tried to give it tempo. And I was like, oh man, it's like full TT effort for 20 minutes. Like, how much does that, like, wake up the legs? You know, we talk about cafe legs on a training run. You stop and it hurts a little bit. Is that going to be an impact?
Yeah, I mean, I think, hard to say. I don't think it's going to be too much of an impact, because even though they're descending, I think they're still going to be able to put some power through the pedals on that plateau section. So, yes, I think if they haven't studied the course and they don't know that's coming, or they've forgotten, they're like, I think yes, there'll be a tendency to be like, okay, we're 50 miles in or 45 miles in, all the work's done, all the climbing's done, and if you don't remember that is coming up, then that could be, just a little confronting for some athletes. But honestly, I think these women are going to be super well prepared. They're going to know what's up and how to tackle the whole range of emotions that you're going to have on this course.
Very emotional.
Emotional. Ironmans are just emotional. Like a flat course is emotional. like going up in the mountains. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Awesome. And then, so one other thing I feel like is underestimated is the swim. Like, we are talking about, and I think you're right, and I'm right when I think about the fact that the tactics are different. So the bike, it's more of a solo TT or climb. And so athletes that aren't as great as swimmers are going to be able to close gaps, and it won't be as like dependent on a group. But are people underestimating, like, this swim course, the texture changes, there's current, and it's an M.
Yeah.
And as someone that was a chaser or trying to hold on to feet as a chase group at World Championships, trying to like stay in a group and where you want to be when you're doing this and then doing this and then doing this, is it possible that some of these athletes that are like, normally I'm 6 minutes behind, that'll be 6 minutes behind, and they're like 9?
Yeah, I mean, that could happen. I mean, we've seen that happen in Kona too, where the gaps, all of a sudden, like we have a day where there's swell and the gaps are just way bigger. Like now you're 9 minutes behind the lead. Like Laura Phillip, I think, was caught out last year. Like she was way back in the swim, and we know she's a better swimmer than that. So is that going to be the case in a course like this? I don't know. I mean, I think Lucy will probably have a couple extra minutes than she would have in Kona because of the straight drag out, the straight drag back. So I think it's set up for like an amazing day, and as analysts we're here like, I actually don't know what's going to happen.
Totally. Well, I actually
my thoughts.
do.
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you.
I don't want to tell you yet. And then the run, you have been in some epic battles in World Championship on the marathon, and it's very different when you're at the front or chasing, you know gaps, you don't, and you see empty road ahead of you. 4 laps, so 5K sections.
Yeah,
like, they're going to see 7 times during the race, if not more, depending how close they are. How different is that as a poker match? And like, is that going to raise the level to a point where people might blow up, or is it just going to raise everybody's ability and spectators the whole time? Kona, you don't have people cheering for you.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Fenella, and I'm like, she's going to love this run because she just thrives off that crowd energy. I'm like, this is going to be amazing for someone like Fenella.
Shaka all day.
Shaka all day long. Maybe she should bring the Shaka down. just run as fast as she can.
Running form Shaka.
Yes, I think maybe that's a better strategy for Fenella. But I think it'll depend on the athlete. Like some athletes could care less, like whether they're out in the Queen K running by themselves or whether they have crowd shouting in their faces. In Kona, and this is the only thing I can go back to, yes, there is a tendency to run too hard when there's people shouting in your face, when there's so many crowds around. You like almost get an out-of-body experience when you like, it like gives me goosebumps, like that feeling of getting off the bike, starting the run, crowds around. It's hard to keep everything in that right heart rate zone.
Oh, for sure.
Just the excitement of it. So I think that's going to be something that the women will have to sort of take into account as they start the run. But who takes the bait and runs hard, and who like is calculated and like, nope, this is my pace, I'm going to run my pace. And I think, there are some seasoned veterans in there that will be like, nope, I'm good, I know this, I've been in courses where there's people yelling the whole way. Just block it all out and focus.
There you go. Okay, real quick, to talk about some favorites. Not going to go too deep, but some of the favorites. So obviously, defending champion Lucy Charles Barclay. What do you think her strengths and weaknesses are going into this race?
I mean, Lucy has become an all-around athlete, and that's what makes her so dangerous. I mean, her swim is outstanding. Even the best swimmers in our sport don't know if they can swim with her. She's that good. So to have that nice little lead. And this course, I think, is good for Lucy because, there's been talk of her not being technically savvy on the downhills. So maybe she loses some time, maybe she doesn't. But Lucy, out of sight, out of mind. She's going to be up in those climbs, super strong. This could be like another Lucy day.
Well, I don't know. I think you might have missed it, but during the pro presser, they asked, okay, would you rather hammer the climb and chill on the descent, or be steady on the climb and smash the descent? And Hannah Berry said, smash the descent. And when she said that, Kat said, did that kind of on the side. And Lucy then said, well, I mean, I've got the Strava segment, so I'm going to go for it. Thing, right? So like they're excited about that descent. And Lucy's obviously put some work into it. So Kat Matthews. Yeah,
Kat Matthews as well. Like I think the feeling in their camp is that if she can't win here, then like this course is made for her. So I think that's kind of the feel. And if she can get it right, then absolutely. She's another one who probably obviously a little bit behind Lucy in the swim, but she's progressing every year and getting closer and closer. And if she can be in that like 5-minute range behind Lucy, and then like make a little bit of a dent on that bike, or even hold that gap. As I said, Kat Matthews, if she runs, sub 245, game over.
And in her head, and as a positive athlete and someone who has the ability to do so, she thinks she's going to have the fastest run split, and I would not be surprised by it, right? Because it's a tough course, and she's a tough athlete.
Yes,
and, is going to push through for sure. How about Laura Philipp?
Yeah, Laura Philipp is my athlete that I keep looking at and thinking she has just set this whole year up around this race. And the only hesitation I had on Kat was she's raced a lot. And, you know, she raced Hamburg, got that DQ, and so she had to go and then find another Ironman race to go and do. That's a lot of travel, stress, changing your plans around when you already have a tight schedule. So that's my question mark on Kat, whether she'd race too much. But they're super smart and they manage themselves and nutrition and everything really well, and she's able to back up very well. Laura Philipp, on the other hand, has been pretty quiet. You know, like not quiet in that she hasn't performed. She's been performing all year, but she has been very selective in the races she's picked, and she's set her whole year up around this race. And so that's what makes me think that she might have the upper hand here.
Yeah, and she trains on terrain very similar. She's gotten 2 fourths at World Championship, a 3rd place, and is a scary runner.
Yeah.
Like she could be the one that runs 242.
Yes. Yeah, she totally. Yeah, so yeah, like if she, as well with her slightly weaker swim and her biking prowess, like she's incredible on 2 wheels. And when you put her in the mountains, even better.
Yep.
So I think this course, you know, she's someone that we've always looked to that she could win Kona. She could win this race more than she could win Kona.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I agree completely. And she was an off-road athlete as well, so very technically savvy. Like we know she can do that.
She'll be smashing the descent.
She will be 100%. Smashing the descent with a big old smile on her face.
Yeah.
And so then we got Chelsea Sorrow and Annie Haug.
Yeah, I mean, 2 women that have performed well in these big races, right? Chelsea Sodaro, 2022 champ, and Annie Haug won in what year?
Yeah, exactly that.
Annie Haug won in, I think, 19.
Yeah, we'll call it 19.
Yeah. But yeah, Annie Haug is 42 years young, I believe.
Yeah.
Not getting any slower. In fact,
she told me that the other day. It was 41 or 42, and I thought she was like 35, 36.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's crushing it.
She had a whole long ITU career, Olympics, everything, and now it's like not a rebirth because it's been a while, but like it feels like a whole long like Ironman career now.
Totally.
And so I think going back to just who performs well on the big days, and you can never discount someone who can get it right on that one day in the year. And Chelsea and Annie are 2 women that obviously know how to race on the big stage.
And Annie did the age group race here and ran a 113 off the bike.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like Annie Haug is stupid fast.
It's crazy.
Like, unbelievable.
And what's scary to me about Annie is that I think it's what you were saying, because of the heat. Like every time I talk to her in Kona, she's not really running.
Yeah.
Like in her mind,
Survival.
she's just like, it's an adventure race. She's just like plodding along. And if she has the energy here to like run, holy crap. Like 248 in Kona?
Yeah.
Like, is it possible for someone like that to run under 240 on this course?
I mean, this is Ironman.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. I mean, I don't know, sub 240.
Yeah.
But if anyone can, it's Annie.
Right.
Yeah. And
no one is going to be scarier to see on those out and backs than Annie.
Oh no! Like seeing
Terrifying.
that coming. If she's running, and she's coming, like there'll be a fear in the eyes of every single woman on that start line.
And to be fair, same for Chelsea.
Yes, Chelsea too. Yeah, Chelsea's a big question mark in that she's just, since her World Championship title, she's had a lot of ups and downs, and she really hasn't been consistent. That being said, she has every single tool in her toolbox to win the race.
Yeah.
So that's one that you're like, I don't know if I would gonna put the house on Chelsea.
Right.
But
You either kind of put the house on Chelsea or like don't.
Yes.
Right? Which is like a cop-out, obviously.
Yeah, you know, yeah. So I don't know. She's just a phenomenal talent, and clearly has gotten it right before. So I hope for her that she can right the ship again and get back up to the top of that podium. But that one's just a big question mark for me.
Totally. And so I won't ask you for your pick because we have to stay neutral on race day. So we'll skip that. But, unless you really want to. That's awesome. But what is it being here this week? I know you were in Kona last year, but the women's only World Championship in Nice, first time ever. I stinking love it. Like I said, after Kona, it felt like I'd been at a yoga retreat or something for a week.
It's relaxing.
Yeah, it's kind of the same vibe here.
I've not been to an all men's one, so I don't. I mean, I know obviously the men's and women's stress of Kona.
Sure.
But I haven't been to an all men's, so I don't know what that situation.
It's different.
It stinks. It's just smelly man. Yeah.
Sure. That's great.
I thought you were going to say it stinks. That's why I was like. I love it too. It's just great for the women. I love the guys. I love to race when my husband got to race, but in actual fact, it probably would have been better if he got to focus on me for my race and I could just focus on him for his race. It probably would have been better that way. But chatting to the pro women, the general feel is that it's so nice that everything is just set up for us. Like there's nothing. Like everyone's here for us. Everyone wants us to do well, and the whole week is all about the women. And I think that's
media support, focus from
like 100% of the show is on the women's
sponsors,
race. Because there's always in history been like show the women, show the men. And it's hard to like find that balance. What's happening in the men's race, and like if there's dynamic changes, you want to capture that for the viewer, and same thing with the women. And it was always kind of like the women aren't getting enough coverage, and 100% of the coverage for the women is just it feels like a big step forward for women's.
And I'm actually curious if we were going to start to see better performances because of that, right? Because of that attention, obviously that support, not being distracted, but also like the energy of the race week. Like it's more positive. There's less like bravado. There's a little bit maybe the day or two before, but in general, yes, I want to finish in front of this person, but I want everybody to like enjoy it.
Well, I think the other thing to consider is with an all women's event and 100% focus on the women, does that then elevate the profiles of all the women?
Oh, 100%.
And so then that
100%.
brings more money in for the women. So now there's more women who can be professional, truly professional, and have all of the help they need.
Yep.
So, and obviously the top level of the women always have had that, but I think it just starts to come down. And so then there's like the not tier 2 or the like women who are maybe on that next level are now able to like train like a professional. They don't have to, coach athletes on the side to make enough money to be able to continue to do this. So I think that's another big, huge positive.
Totally. And equity doesn't happen because we want it to happen right away. It happens because we get behind it and slowly start building it. And we felt obviously that huge first step last year, and it felt great. And talking to the athletes then and talking to the athletes this week, to me, it is less about that race day coverage and more about the race week going in and the media attention, and yes, that like build up of the profile, and then compound that with the pro series that we have athletes that sat here that we normally wouldn't have the attention behind because maybe the men were there, we had too much to focus on, and they're in contention. Like Maja Stage Nielsen, like she is in podium position for a pro series championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, there's a lot of different factors coming together and just allowing these women to just showcase the phenomenal athletes that they are. And and I hope we can keep celebrating them and keep pushing them out and like, look what these women are doing. They're incredible. And the more we can tell their stories, the more people will be invested in them. And, that's how sport evolves, right? Like getting people to care. And I think that's what Ironman are truly trying to do now.
Totally. And it does feel like, and it's hard, I think, for people that aren't here, but it feels like a sea change, right? And it's for me, I get to talk to so many more athletes. So like I have all these stories. I'm like, oh, that person's great. And it's like, they've always been great.
Yeah.
We just haven't had the time
we just didn't know.
Sit down to chat with them, right?
Yeah,
It's so
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So what are you most looking forward to on race day? And then we'll let you go.
I don't know, like the whole thing. I just want to know how it's going to play out. You know, like just it's such an unknown, a new course, new talent coming up. There's so many things to like be excited about. Okay, who wins? Yes, 100%. The world champion, who will be crowned. I want to know who that person is. But then, how does that shake out with the point series? Totally. Where's Jackie Herring? Where's Lotte Wilms? Where's Maja Stage Nielsen? Hannah Berry? Or is it just like a complete shake-up? I think it might be a bit of a shake-up, but I don't know. I'm just excited for all of it.
There you go. I'm super excited as well. Much more content coming to you from the race course here in Nice on Sunday. Be sure to tune in, watch Renee and I out on course chatting about the...
Actually, I mostly just want to hang out with you on race day. That's why I'm looking forward
That's
to
why we're here.
Yeah.
Right, that's cool. It's going to be awesome. A lot more content coming out this week as well, so keep in tune. But thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ironman Insider Podcast, presented by Martin for Mirinda Carfrae. I'm Matt Lieto. Bye.
Bye.